ever felt like time is moving way faster towards the end of the year? It almost feels like we are catching our breath, trying to recall what are some of the things that we have done. And it's also a reflective season where we start to wonder about all the times that we should have spent doing specific things or goals. In today's video, I want to bring you through a couple of crafts that I'm working with my kids. And the luxury of being able to be at home is that we get to spend a lot more time together, slowing down, and also creating. We're going to be diving into that rose video that you saw earlier, and I will be taking you through my real-time process. Now, while I am working on this craft together with my kids, one of the things that I notice is there's always this feeling of wanting to move and do something more. It almost feels like it's hard to slow down, especially during this Christmas season where we feel like there are so many other things to tick off our list. However, I have to say that this season, I've started to focus on a new path. I've stopped consuming and shopping for gifts, and I've decided to look at things that we already have and things that we don't need instead. We've started to focus on the joys and experiences that we can give to each other, just like the little joys that we are going through by sitting together and doing this craft. Even though it's just with pipe cleaners and wires, it's nothing fancy, doing a simple project like this with my kids really adds so much laughter and fun towards our day. So the idea of slowing down really hit me when we visited a farm recently. This actually happened somewhere around the end of November, and it's funny how stepping into nature can really make you pause. We were watching the way the flowers were swaying in the rain and how the light softens everything. It's almost like time moves differently in nature, and it's in moments like these that it really reminds me why it's so important to pace ourselves. So sit back and relax as I share with you some footage of this beautiful edible farm that we visited just in Malaysia, Johor Bahru. This edible farm has hectares of plants that have lots of fruits, vegetables that were all growing in the field. Even though the rain was heavy and pouring down on us, the spirits of the kids, their laughter, their smiles, jumping in puddles, all of this really brightened the feeling and mood within our visit. wanted to share this little video just because my little one was so excited that she was able to make green color when I gave her two colors. She was asking for green, but I told her that these two colors were going to magically change into the color that she wanted. Now, that feeling of being able to watch her mix a color from two colors was so magic, and it's often something that we take for granted, where we already know what things are, but to so many of our kids, these are really just things that have never been seen or felt before. It really makes me think about all the other things that I take for granted, and I'm feeling so lucky that I get to learn this together with my kids. While I'm painting this rose bouquet, I just wanted to talk about a quote that I recently saw on Instagram, and it really resonated with me. It was a quote about how nature has got different seasons and how the seasons move together with the way plants and animals are in cycles, where the plants go and rest during the winter time, and then they start to slowly reappear in spring, and then in summer that's where they are in full bloom, and then following which they start to wither, and then they go back in hiding in the winter. And when I was reading this quote, it was talking about how so many of us should also allow ourselves to have seasons where we have periods of rest, periods of stillness, and also periods of excitement and bloom and energy. And while I was thinking about this, it also got me to reflect a little bit about the year, because I noticed that being a homeschooling mom and a creative business owner, one of the things that I feel I lack is this ability to just be. When my kids are sleeping at night, I'm doing a voiceover for YouTube, or I'm filming a class, or I'm doing something. I clock steps at night, and while I'm clocking my steps, I'm responding on social media, or I'm replying to my members on our community chat. And there's always something that I'm doing. This constant, perpetual need to be finishing or ticking off something on my list has really got me thinking. While I'm definitely practicing being slower around my kids, where we no longer rush them from place to place, we try and expand the amount of time that we have for activities and things, so that all of us actually get the opportunity to really enjoy what we want to see before we move on to the next activity. I am noticing that I am not giving myself that opportunity. So I'm really curious. How do you practice self care for yourself? Perhaps painting is something that you spend time doing just to be still and be with yourself. Painting used to be also an outlet where I get to still my mind and be with myself. However, with all the time that I have to spend with my kids, I no longer get the luxury of just coming to my room and painting as and when I like. I no longer have that escape. But that being said, each of the classes that I've created with brush movement has really also allowed me to get that opportunity to get creative, expand my ability to think outside the box, and also to get creative with how I'm going to be teaching different lessons. So, yes, I do get some of that opportunity of self care. However, I do notice that the amount of time that I have in my day often feels like it is filling up more and more, instead of having seasons like nature where there are ebbs and flows going up and down. Also, if you have watched some of my videos where I've been painting roses and speaking about how I feel about roses, I just feel like putting a video here today, painting roses, feels like I am also pushing my boundaries where I am trying to show up in a space where even though it is not something I am totally comfortable doing, I still want to keep trying, keep practicing, and keep going. In fact, this bouquet is actually a tutorial that is in our Floral Foundation community, which you are welcome to join in the description below. And for this class, one of the things that I was challenging myself to do was to create a composition that was of specific shapes. Now, composition has been something that I've been studying quite a fair bit in the last month or so, and I have to say, I'm not often proud of the roses that I create, but this one right here is something that I really thought worked out, and I love the different shapes and I managed to capture. Plus, I also love how all of the leaves and shapes came together in this bouquet. Now, if you're painting together with me, I would love to hear what your thoughts are as you are listening to me speak. Share with me how it has been in terms of reflecting on your journey towards the end of the year. And also, if you are noticing any pressure building up as you are wrapping up the year end. Feel so thankful that you are spending time with me today and you are also making time to slow down and still your mind during this season. Now, whether you're watching this during the Christmas season or maybe outside of the Christmas season, I just hope that this video inspires you to think about the way in which we are using our time, just like how I've shared before, like how I'm constantly on this wheel of needing to do something. I realized that over the last year, on hindsight, there has been so many productivity traps that I've been falling in. This need to do, this need to achieve, and there are so many different pressures that I'm noticing that's building up. Ironically, being with my kids have actually helped me to learn to slow down. It has given me the ability to see things through their eyes, just like all of those little crafts that you are watching them work together with me, even those nature walks that we get to do. And I've never been really someone who's really big on nature, but with time, being able to go out and see things through my kids' eyes, noticing all the different textures, and of course, picking up painting and starting to paint things that I'm actually seeing out in real life has definitely given me this sense of appreciation for nature that I've never felt before. So, have we started beginning to think about 2025? What exactly we want to do, or what it's supposed to look like? And I feel like because things have moved and changed so much for me over the last couple of years, it almost feels like an adventure or even a blind box. A blind box is like one of those, if you go and buy something from a vending machine where you just put in a coin and that ball rolls out. You don't even know what it's going to be. Sometimes that's how it feels like every year. I never know what I'm going to be doing, just like when the year that I created a membership, I had no idea that that was going to be the year. The year that we decided that we were going to be homeschooling, and everything was just okay, let's try and see how things go and whether it works out. But somehow it managed to pan out, and it feels right at this point in time and at this juncture, and we want to continue it. And while the idea of planning out the year, setting goals, and having intentions all seem like a good idea to have, at this stage, because of my reflection of the year and noticing how I've already been filling up my time, I want to really spend 2025 in a space where I get to just go with the flow. And funny enough, as I shared with you about all of those things that I've managed to kind of jump in on and without really that expectation, like homeschooling and so on, it just made me realize that all this while I have been going with the flow. The only thing that I don't seem to notice is that there are all these small little markers and small little things that I'm doing on a daily basis instead of these large, big achievements that we think is what it takes to really be completing or achieving specific goals. This means that we need to learn to start to think about all things that add up instead of the big thing that we ultimately want. I read a quote somewhere on Instagram, once again, about how the man who enjoys the walk will enjoy the journey far more than the man who reaches the destination. And I hope that that quote is something that you can resonate with. And I hope that this kind of sticks with the theme of stillness, which was what this video was set to be. And I hope that it did not get off the trail too much. Sometimes I know I tend to just talk myself off trail, but I'm so thankful that you are spending time with me. I hope that you enjoyed watching this little rose painting come to life. And like with every video, please don't forget to leave a comment, share with me your thoughts, tell me how your year has gone and what you hope for. Maybe an intention or maybe something that you want for yourself. I don't think there really is a right or wrong way of doing things, but I always do feel that whatever that we have gone through is a good learning opportunity for the next stage or season in our life.